Welcome back, everyone. We're getting you ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. We'll take you there here in the next 8 minutes or so as that bell rings. I can tell you that the futures are not looking so hot right now. All three major indices are in the red as we speak. The Dow, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq are all down. In fact, as you can see, only one bright spot at the moment on our board. Again, we'll take you to New York for the opening bell at the stock exchange here in short order. Hopefully, all of this will change the moment that bell sounds. But now, let's get you over to David.
Thank you much, T. Bates. All right, time now for our daily dose of dollars and common sense with American Sunrise early edition host and the guy behind Jake's Takes Substack. That would be Jake Novak. We do this every morning right about this time. So, Jake, let's talk about Lisa Cook. All right, so the Federal Reserve Board governor, who President Donald Trump says he's fired because she allegedly made false statements on applications for home mortgages, 2 homes, whatever. I shouldn't say whatever, but that's what he's saying. Cook says she's not going anywhere. She says the president doesn't have the authority to fire her. So what's happening here? And by the way, what exactly is a Fed governor exactly?
Yeah, I know. Here we are talking about boring positions that may or may not really be needed anymore in the first place. I can't stand this. Again, it's not like I'm trying to get rid of all government. It's not that. But some of these positions, my goodness, the self-importance. But, I tried to live in D.C., David, after I graduated college, and I just couldn't because there were low-level historians of the Department of Energy who were acting arrogant at a party I went to. And I thought to myself, we don't even need the Department of Energy, let alone you. I can't take it. But anyway, this is going to be a big battle. Obviously, it will go to the courts because the courts take over. The lawyers always win, by the way. Learn that lesson now, young people. But that is one of the things that's going to happen. Now, the only way that a president can fire a Fed governor is, quote, for cause. Now, I think the president seems to have a pretty good cause here. It's not excusable for any public official to commit mortgage fraud, but especially, David, for a Fed governor who deals with things like, with banking and mortgages and interest and all that kind of stuff. This is a really bad look. And one thing you might notice, everyone, Lisa Cook is pushing back. She's saying the president doesn't have the authority to do this. I haven't heard much from her claiming her innocence. If I were her, I would spend more time saying, hey, no, I'm not really guilty of this. But maybe she can't, David, because maybe the evidence is really slam dunk here. It's an ugly situation, and it'll be made even uglier if she doesn't go quietly. I suggest that she does. She should do that, but I don't think she will.
Yeah, and for cause, right? So that seems pretty broad. And, this is alleged mortgage fraud. Nothing's been proven. So, this is going to the courts. There's no doubt. Trump and the courts. Trump has lived in the court system since when he was 24 years old, I think. All right. So, Jake, we know that investors getting obsessed about the Fed frustrates you. You've been very clear about this. You have PTSD on it. I get it. Or maybe I don't get it, but you definitely get it. So what about this? What about the market's obsession with one company called Nvidia?
Nvidia,
yeah. Nvidia.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I was about to call it Noxema Cream. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead, please.
I wouldn't mind Noxema. It's the richest company in the world, so everyone should start getting used to saying it. Nvidia. Now, they make the AI chips. They've been away. Listen, the markets don't understand AI any better than you or I do. Okay, they really don't. So for years, they've been investing in NVIDIA because that's a safe play. Oh, you make the computer chips that most of the AI technologies use? Great. I'll put my money in you. And so slowly but surely, it's become the most valuable company in the world. So I understand the money reason why the markets are so obsessed with it, but it's frustrating because it's one company. There are other chip companies that obviously could catch up to NVIDIA and things like that. But whatever NVIDIA does, good or bad, really moves the markets. And I think we proved very definitively that when people were blaming the tariffs for the market downturn in April, which, by the way, has been completely reversed, now we're back up to all-time highs again, everyone was blaming the tariffs, but they were wrong. It was NVIDIA that was having a bit of a sell-off, a little crisis of conscience. People were a little worried about it being overvalued. That's what really moved the markets down. So I hate that when we have this very, very broad, very, very diverse economy in this country where we look at one company as the be-all and end-all. We did that with Apple for years. Remember when we did that?
Yeah.
And again, we're doing this now with NVIDIA. Tomorrow is their earnings report. They will obsess over that number for some time. Just be ready for it.
All right, good to know. All right, let's talk about electric vehicles, the old EVs. Uh-oh, this is also PTSD to a degree for you. You've really gotten to the bottom, though, of the real reason why these electric vehicles will never take off as much as the the greenies and the paid-off politicians want them to. So what is the big problem here, Jake? Explain.
The big problem with EV sales in America, David, is that you're all slobs. Okay, I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here, but they did a study and they showed that a big reason why many people aren't buying EVs is because their garages are such a mess that they can't set up the charging stations in them because they can't even get their car in the garage. Look, folks, you know who you are. I used to have the most immaculate garage, and I don't anymore because then my girls grew up and became teenagers. You know what happened then. But honestly, this is actually a factor. Now, again, I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek. This isn't the biggest problem for EVs, but it is actually a big problem. I remember last year, Ford made this big offer that they would set up a nice charging station for you for free in your house, in your garage, if you bought a Ford EV. A lot of people said, that's nice. I have my aunt and a small family's worth of furniture in there. What am I going to, I can't get that car in there. It's actually an issue. Don't laugh. It's not a complete joke. Look, you'll know who you are. Your sloppy garages are absolutely stopping you from getting more stuff in the name of the late George Carlin.
Right. Good. You actually invoked the name of George Carlin in a business segment. That is nicely done, Jake Novak. Hey, by the way, we got like less than a minute, so why not? Let's talk about this just for a second. I don't know how much it has to do with business. But driverless cars in New York City, I think we talked about this, or I don't know where it was from. They want to do what? These driverless taxis or something, or Ubers or Lyfts? What are they doing in New York, right? Aren't they doing that?
Yeah.
And would you ever get in one of those? You're from New York. I'm from New York.
You know, this is going to surprise some of you maybe, but I absolutely would. Tesla wants to do robo-taxis in Manhattan. First of all, it can't be any more dangerous than the taxi drivers are already. But all joking aside, before you make, and I want to say this very honestly to the viewers, before you make your decision about driverless cars, think about people who are disabled and are basically chained in their homes in America before you say no to driverless cars. That's all I have to say.
Oh, very nicely put. All right. Jake Novak, good to see you. Appreciate it. Thanks again.
My pleasure.
All right, heading to T-Bates in Denver for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
We are less than a minute away from the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. You're going to hear the applause here shortly, and then the bell will follow in short order. I can tell you pre-market trading not looking so hot. All the major indices have been down in pre-market trading. Hopefully that will turn around here in short order. Alette is at the podium. They're applauding, and the bell is going to ring here momentarily, and then we'll get an idea if there's going to be a turnaround once the markets officially open. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are now officially open with the opening bell, and just like that, the major indices still down. The S&P 500, as well as the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq, are all in the red. The middle of our board looking good right now, but crude oil still down in the red as well. It's going to be an interesting day of trading, and we'll, of course, keep an eye on it for you. Coming up, Chris Christie may actually be in a heck of a lot of hot water, as his Bridgegate scandal is back in the headlines. Coming up in moments, find out why President Trump is taking aim at the former New Jersey governor, vowing to prosecute him over the years-old scandal. That story is ahead.